Petroleum tax to determine whether to maintain it or scrap it. Also, on the dashboard, the government advised to pay more attention to agro-industrialization to boost agriculture sector. And later on, all is set for the biggest corporate fun games, the City Business Olympics, tomorrow at the Bermocamp Sports Complex. Details of these stories and others, including exclusive interviews, analysis on the top trending business issues, coming up in the next 30 minutes. Let's take our first story. Now, the National Pensions Regulatory Authority, NPRA, is engaging the Social Security and National Insurance Trust, SSNIT, to complete actuarial assessment of the trust's portfolio for last year. This is to fulfill the trust mandate in meeting pensioners' needs when claims are submitted. Per law, SSNIT is to produce an assessment of its total portfolio within every 3 years. The trust is yet to publish the 2017 report, but the Deputy Chief Executive Officer of the NPRA, David Tete Abe, tells City Business News the collaboration should reduce apprehension during claim payments.
You see, the BNSS, the Tier 1, it's a defined benefit scheme with certain guarantees. Because what he's saying is that based on your contribution, it's going to pay you a certain amount in the future. So that promise is a guarantee. And for that matter, whatever is collecting now, the actuary will ensure that it is solvent to be able to meet that guarantee. Okay? So that what will be the essence in managing the contribution? Then when you retire, SSNIT will say that, oh, for one reason or the other, wait for 10 years. By that time, you will die. Because you, at pension or retirement, you will not be actively seeking income. You are old. That's why we call it a social protection system. You cannot be actively seeking income. So the actuary makes sure that when you cannot actively seek income, there will be income. Because the worst thing that can happen to you is to outlive your income. And it is worse than death. You are as good as death.
Well, a Deputy Minister for Energy, Dr. Mohammed Amin Adam, has stated that the Finance Ministry is reviewing the special petroleum tax to determine whether it will be scrapped or not. The tax was introduced by the erstwhile John Mahama administration during the power crisis and was expected to be scrapped after the crisis. The minority in Parliament and the African Centre for Energy Policy have all joined calls for the tax to be scrapped. But speaking to a press conference yesterday, Mr. Adam stated that the Finance Minister will soon come out with a recommendation on the tax.
As far as the SPT is concerned, the Ministry of Finance, together with the Ministry of Energy, are reviewing it. We already have gone down from 17.5% to 13%. And as the Minister also said, we have converted it from ad valorem to specific tax. What this means is that it is now fixed. So if crude oil prices go up, the component of the SPT will stay the same. It will not go up. And so these are some of the pragmatic measures we have put around the SPT to ensure that its effect is minimized for the Ghanaian. And so as far as scrapping it completely, the Ministry of Finance and the Ministry of Energy are discussing other options. And therefore, when the decision is made eventually, the people of Ghana.
Meanwhile, research professor and director of the Institute of African Studies at the University of Ghana, Professor Georgie Chikata, has called on government to review the macroeconomic policies of the country through increased focus on agro-industrialization. According to her, this will help strengthen both the economy and the agriculture sector and also create more jobs in the country. There is more in the following report.
Speaking as an inaugural lecture, Professor Georgie Chikata bemoaned the lack of social policies in Ghana needed to address the challenges of workers and called on governments to put in place a social policy to do so.
In 1924, a shift in the attitude to employment was signaled when the government adopted an employment policy, a comprehensive document which takes a broad approach to employment creation and signals an interest in improving the conditions of work and the regulation of work. The policy enunciates principles no different from those of a transformative social policy approach and recommends an integrated multi-sectoral approach to work although still prioritizing self-employment and the training and support for entrepreneurs. There's no indication that this policy is guiding current efforts to put in place measures to address problems identified with work, such as low productivity, the size of the public sector wage bill, people entering the job market without requisite qualification and skills, including the ability to start their own enterprises, the unattractiveness of jobs in agriculture, and the tax and regulation avoidance of certain enterprises. These diagnoses and the solutions which underpin them consist of a series of standalone measures or programs which are not part of any comprehensive social policy framework. They are mostly directed at dealing with the fallouts from the crisis of work.
She added that government should not allow agricultural policies to be persuaded by donor supports, but should rather incorporate the macroeconomic policies of the country with agro-processing in order to create sustainable jobs.
We should change our macroeconomic policies. We should go into agro-industrialization and take seriously the promise of agriculture so that we can make an agrarian transition and have an economy which is mixed. It has a strong industrial base, it has a strong agriculture base, and then they can both draw synergies from each other to create enough jobs in the economy.
The theme of the lecture was addressing the crisis of work in Ghana. Her call also comes at a time where there have been massive job layoffs in the country, in the financial sector, media, and most recently, textile industry.
So one lifestyle that the improvement in technology has changed is how people assess time. Now, while some have still stayed with the traditional means of wearing a wristwatch, others have ditched the idea altogether, relying heavily on their mobile phones and other gadgets to assess time. Now, in the following report, Pius Amihi Duku takes a look at the watch business and how patronage has been impacted by the invention of technology.
Watches come in different shapes, colors and specifications. Some well-known brands of watches include Audemars Piguet, Vacheron Constantin, Blancpain, Rolex, Seiko, as well as Police. Watches are worn for varied reasons ranging from accessing time, complementing one's fashion, or just as luxury. Opoku and Fred have been selling watches at Accra Central for about a decade and 5 years now, respectively.
The phone, if I have phone here, if you ask me time, I remove my phone and watch the time and tell you the time. Because of the phone, because I'm selling watch here, but I don't wear watch because of phone. I probably that cash use, they don't buy a lot of watches again.
Watch you have to buy watch because watch as a boy. You say you have the kick watch. Watch you have to buy watch. Watch the composer, you have to buy watch. Watch you say as a man you have to buy watch. The phone, if you have phone, you watch the top. You know, be always go if you come out your phone, then you go watch you got. If you have to buy watch. Watch there is good.
They admit to a drop in the business recently. They tell me the preference for mobile phones has impacted on their business.
Now of the mobiles and this thing, the watch doesn't move again. But it moved not by 6 years or 7 years.
Battery-powered watches were invented in the 1960s and it will soon take over 20 years later from the mechanical watch. But several years on, watches have become more sophisticated aside being a reference for timing. This is because of the introduction of timers, chronographs, and alarm functions, as well as smart watches, which are elaborate computer-like electronic devices. The purpose for owning a watch definitely impacts the price at which one is willing to spend on it. These customers I encountered will definitely not spend a fortune to own a watch.
For my watch, I just need it. Maybe whenever I goes, I just have to look at the time so that I guess maybe when I'm going to work, I just look at my watch and move it.
But when I checked, the prices were high. From 200 to 100 Ghana, 60 Ghana. But I earlier on bought some elsewhere. So when I came, this one was much expensive than it.
Kezia operates a watch retail shop in the Central Business District. Here, you will have to pay between 100 and as much as 800 cedis for your watch.
Oh, for the men, some come for, let's take it like 300, 350, but they 700 few. Some of them, they just come for, let's take it like fun, but some too purposely come to look at time. We have some businessmen, they work with time, so they need to have watch to just be checking their time.
Well, some facts for you if you do not wear a wristwatch. A 2015 research by David Ellis and Rob Jenkins from the Lincoln and York Universities respectively showed that watch wearers are more conscientious and punctual than those with bare wrist. Nonetheless, wear your watch on your left or right wrist, and that may not necessarily affect perception about your preference for watches.
Oops! It's 10 to 4 already. Well, I choose to prefer to the traditional watch for my time. Others say they are hooking on to the advance of technology to get access to their timing for the day. People are spending as much as 700 cedis to get a watch. The option is yours. For City News, Pius Amihe Eduku.
Well, you're still watching the City, the business dashboard right here on City TV. We're going for a break. When we do return, though, the biggest sporting corporate event is up tomorrow, the City Business Olympics at the Bemakam Sports Complex. We'll bring you more when we return.
For regular news checks as they unfold. 2020 news, all day, all the time. Politics, sports, entertainment, business, and more. 2020 news. We bring you the world in 20 minutes.
And that's all the news in 20 minutes.
Quero ver todo mundo balançando. Ninguém pode ficar parado. Essa loucura.
Witness the twisted and tangled story of betrayal, greed, vengeance, and love in the award-winning Brazil Avenue. Carminia, a woman led by greed, gets rid of her husband, who is Rita's father, and sends Rita away to a filthy landfill. Rita finds love in Batata, but they are soon separated by adoption into different families, far away from each other. Many years later, all paths cross again, as Rita, now a renowned chef, seeks to pay back her stepmother for taking away her happiness as a child. It's a story of twists, turns, suspense, and thrilling action in Brazil Avenue. Brazil Avenue, coming soon only on City TV. Brazil Avenue.
You're welcome back to the business dashboard right here on City TV. Let's bring you some more stories. Now, barely 3 months to the deadline for meeting the minimum capital requirement for banks, the time left still presents an opportunity for banks that are yet to announce their position to meet the requirement. Now, that is the assertion of banking consultant Nana Otu Ichempom. He explains to City Business News the banks whose capital may not have reached the 400 million cedi level still have ample time to resort to any of the options available to them. The following report has more.
Since September last year, commercial banks in the country have been racing against time to recapitalize. The banks have resorted to various options such as fresh capital injection from shareholders, raising funds from the stock market, or merging. About 16 banks have so far met the requirement, with the remaining working around the clock to beat the deadline. The 400 million cedis minimum capital level is one of the reforms that the Bank of Ghana is pursuing to sanitize the banking industry. Presently, Omni Bank and Sahel Sahara Bank are the two undergoing processes to merge to meet the capital levels. If any bank is unable to meet the capital level by December this year, it will either lose its license and drop to a savings and loans category, or may opt to completely fold up its business. Perhaps the 3 months left to December may qualify as a short period, but Nana Otuwe-Champon tells City Business News the time may just be optimum.
There's still a big hope that they will all be able to comply, but the BOJ has also given indication that they are not turning back. And so if by 31st December you have not merged, then you have not met the requirement, they have one of two options: either to merge you by force or to revoke your license and give you the next step, which is an SNL license. That is, if you still want to continue trading. If you want to pack shop, they cannot force you because it's a free market economy.
Now, Ghana and the United Kingdom are exploring avenues to allow for UK investment in the extractive industry. Among the areas to be explored are value addition and technology transfer. Now, government over the years has bemoaned the lack of value addition to the country's minerals, which has led to the country losing millions of cedis. There is more in this report.
Beyond collecting royalties, taxes, shares and other revenues, local content and value addition strategy are some of the methods government is adopting to increase the benefit from resource extraction to economy. It is government's aim to collaborate with other sectors of the economy through local employment opportunities, in-country spending and procurement of local goods and services, technology and skills transfer, and local participation through equity and management. Value addition may promote a whole economy and opportunities for processing of the extracted resource, but there are challenges. The problem lies in the limited capacity and high cost of local companies, insufficient financial support, inadequate standards of certification, and inability of contractors to meet high industry standards. The prospects depend on how the industry, local businesses, and state institutions work together to overcome these obstacles facing local content opportunities. It is on this background that Ghana has opened its doors for foreign direct investments to promote this policy. The first to express interest to collaborate with the country is the United Kingdom. It is currently in talks with government to invest in the value addition chain in our extractive sector. Speaking to City Business News after a meeting with Ghana's Lands Minister, UK Prime Minister's trade envoy to Ghana, Adam Efriye, said his government will ensure that these investments benefit the two countries.
Ghana is rich in natural resources, whether it's timber, agriculture, gold, minerals, and now bauxite. And Britain is uniquely placed to assist in making sure that the wealth of the nation can trickle through the nation. So we have a lot of expertise and a lot of investment available to support Ghana in this transformation. I think you've just answered the question. It is actually all of them. And that's the unique ability that we have from the UK. What we're able to offer from the United Kingdom is a comprehensive package, which is investment, but also the expertise, but also a ruthless focus on ensuring that the environmental and social needs are also met. What we would like to see is that when mining operations take place, is that not only does it produce revenue for the exchequer here in Ghana, but it also produces jobs and training opportunities for the people of Ghana. My main message from the United Kingdom is this, is that if you work with the United Kingdom and UK-based businesses, we have your interests at the top of our agenda, and we are particularly focused on the environmental and the social values of the projects that we deliver. And also, do bear in mind that we are an international country and we can work in international consortium so that if we lead the project working with others, we can deliver those jobs and the training and the expertise that's required.
A Deputy Lands and Natural Resources Minister, Benito Usubio, who was part of government's delegation, said his outfit will ensure equity in such investments.
Any country that we trade with, we are not going to let them shortchange us. So please, this issue of the Chinese going to take over Ghana is a no situation. It's not going to happen. Then, going forward with our collaboration and our trade with UK, it goes years back. We've been with UK all these years, and it's always been a very good and cordial partnership. We'll build on that. We'll build on the new wind that is blowing in the UK. We are going to assure them that as even they are moving into Brexit, as far as we're still with them, UK is, I'll say, was our colonial masters, and we will always be with them. So we would open our doors for them to bring in their expertise, for them to bring their investors in to look at where we lack, then they fill in those positions for us.
Now, all is set for the biggest corporate sporting event, the City Business Olympics. Now, the Bermacam Sports Complex will host over 40 companies who have vowed to secure trophies for their respective teams. Well, the following report gives you a peep into tomorrow's event.
The clock is ticking. Teams are wrapping up their training sessions, and all eyes are on the ultimate, the trophies. The City Business Olympics this time around promises a memorable experience for both new entrant and regular patrons. For the over 20 disciplines up for competition, you will need nothing but a formidable team spirit to make the mark. A run through the activities, and there is 7-a-side soccer, swimming, lawn and table tennis, sack race, lime and spoon, among others.
The only green that maintains its color during Hamatan. ADB, this is our first time, and we are going to not just compete, we are going to win. Each sport or each activity we are going to participate in, see ADB, we are here to win. We are not here to joke. O team dear, O team.
Other highlights to watch out for include the CEO's Challenge, as well as non-competitive activities such as drop knot and archery.
See the total already charging for the competition. You can see we are already charged up. Come Saturday. Are you ready for total? We are talking about total. When it comes to our watch, no, we have it. When it comes to the best business in Ghana, we are talking total. So watch out for total this Saturday. We are going to watch you guys in football, whatever competition you have. Women, Michael Phelps.
Again, the day will definitely not end with a clear separation of the boys from the men. The City Business Olympics is powered by City 97.3 FM and supported by City TV.
We're still watching the Business Dashboard on City TV. We are going for a break. When we do return, we'll move to the international stories.
Wherever the weekend sporting action happened, we will bring it to you here on Scorecard. Every goal, every dunk, every punch, the winning strides, and the winning volleys.
Come international media, he said, look, wait, sit and wait. Let me have a meal with my people. And I think that's the same cool, it's the same organization he brings to the field every time I've seen him play. He looks to me like somebody who has played over 50 caps already. Okay. But this guy has barely played over 25 caps for the national team.
All of the weekend's action in one place. Scorecard, every Sunday at 7:30 p.m. prompt on City TV.
Welcome back to the Business Dashboard here on City TV. Let's take some more stories. The Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Kweku Asomah-Kyeremeh, is advising mining companies to endeavour to pay their 10% dividend to government. The minister believes many companies deliberately refuse to pay dividend after acquiring interest on their business, a situation he believes must not be encouraged.
The minister, who made this known to the media, said companies must practice the act of paying dividend to government. This, he said, will generate revenue for government to undertake developmental projects. He bemoaned the act where mining companies deliberately declare no profit to get them exempted from paying dividend.
The Auditor General's report on the public accounts of Ghana Consolidated Funds for the year ended 31st December 2014 revealed that for the 10-year period 2005 to 2014, only 4 out of the 22 mining companies sampled paid any dividend to the government of Ghana. We are therefore happy that relating to 2017, we are seeing signs that dividends will start flowing.
Recently, Chirano Gold Mines Limited.
Let's head to Nigeria for our international story. And the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, has revoked the license of Sky Bank Nigeria PLC. The CBN governor and the managing director of the Nigeria Insurance Deposit Corporation, NDIC, Godwin Emefiele, disclosed this on Friday at a media briefing in Lagos. He also announced the change in the name of Sky Bank to Polaris Bank, which takes over the bank. He said an injection of 786 billion naira has been made into the bank, with the Asset Management Corporation of Nigeria, AMCON, has been directed to commence the sale process of the bank from Monday. The revocation of Sky Bank's operating license follows the central bank's decision to pause its injection of funds processes in the lender. The regulators maintain that customers' deposits are safe, as management and members of staff will be retained under the new ownership structure. Meanwhile, the share price of Sky Bank on Friday gained 4.05% at 77 kobo. The stock is expected to be placed on suspension from Monday in accordance with Bridge Bank procedures. Well, that brings us to an end of today's edition of the Business Dashboard. For more news, do visit citybusinessnews.com. My name is Bilio. Say many thanks for your time. Keep watching City TV.